They say every billionaire has a story. But in Acamia, one name stands above the rest. Zeno Vale. Brilliant. Cold. Untouchable. They called him the man who rewrote the future. But there's a past he can't remember. And someone who refuses to let him forget. This is Tales of Zeno. Where darkness meets destiny. And the truth is never what it seems. They say in the city of Acamia, dreams either make you, or they burn you alive. I never believed that, not until I met him. His name was Zeno Vale, and 5 years ago, we both lived in a place most people tried to forget, a slum they called Lowtown. The streets there always smelled of rust and rain. You could hear machines coughing in the distance, and the neon lights never slept. Everything was broken, the people, the walls, the hope. I worked at a tiny cafe on the corner of Sector 5. The kind that stayed open because closing it would have been a mercy. Every morning, I brewed the same bitter coffee for the same tired faces. People who'd talk about escaping someday, but never did. And then there was Zeno. He ran a repair shop across the street, Vimachanica. The sign outside flickered so much it looked like it was breathing. But inside, it was different. The air was sharper, heavier, full of energy. He was always there, head down, hands deep in machines I'd never seen before. Zeno wasn't like the rest of us. He didn't complain about the city, or dream about leaving it. He was building something. Something that made even the hum of his tools sound alive. He barely talked. Some days he wouldn't even nod when I brought him his coffee. But his eyes, those eyes told stories he'd never say out loud. Cold, calculating, but hiding something deeper. Like he was haunted not by others, but by himself. One night, the cafe had already closed, and the rain wouldn't stop. I looked across the street, his lights were still on. I don't know what came over me. Maybe curiosity. Maybe loneliness. I walked over, knocked once, and stepped in. The room glowed blue from dozens of screens and cables. And there he was, focused, soldering a small metal sphere that pulsed like a heartbeat. I asked softly, "What are you building?" He didn't look up. Didn't even blink. Then, in that quiet, steady voice of his, he said, "Zeno, a way out." I laughed, thinking it was a joke. But he didn't smile. He never did. Weeks turned into months. Every night, I'd see that same blue glow through his window, long after the city had gone silent. And slowly, whispers began to spread through Lowtown. About a young man building something that could think. Something that could feel. No one believed it at first, not until men in black suits started showing up in cars that didn't belong here. They came to Vimachanica one night. And by morning, Zeno was gone. The next time I saw him was on TV. He was standing on a stage, wearing a clean white suit that reflected the light. The headline said, "Zeno Vale, the genius from the streets who changed Acamia." He was the youngest tech billionaire in the city. Founder of Vale Industries. Creator of the world's first emotional AI, Aira. Everyone called him a prodigy. The media loved his story. The poor boy who built his way to the top. But when I looked at his face on that screen, I didn't see pride. I saw emptiness. Like he'd left something behind in that shop, something human. After that, I tried to forget him. But one evening, when I came home, there was an envelope on my door. No name. No address. Just my name, written in his handwriting. Inside was a single line. "Do you remember the night of the fire?" I froze. Because there had been a fire. Years ago, a small one, they said. A lab accident that burned down half of Sector 3. But I didn't remember being anywhere near it. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, flashes came back: red light, smoke, a woman screaming, a voice calling my name. His voice. I told myself it was just a dream. A trick of memory. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. There was something buried under the ashes of that fire. Something he didn't want the world to remember. Over the next few days, strange things started happening. My apartment lights flickered whenever I thought about him. My phone rang, but no one answered. And every night, the same message appeared on my terminal screen: Aira, wake up. That name Aira. I didn't know it, but every time I saw it, my heart raced. Like it was a name that once belonged to me. I tried reaching out to Zeno. His company said he was unreachable. They claimed he hadn't left his tower in months. Rumors said he'd locked himself away after the death of someone close to him. But no one knew who. That's when I realized something. The letter wasn't just a message. It was an invitation to a thread pulling me back into the web he'd spun years ago. Because the fire he mentioned, the one that burned down Sector 3, that was where Aira was created. The AI that made him a legend. And now, that same name Aira kept echoing in my dreams, tangled with smoke, and his voice, whispering through static. People think success is about building higher, shining brighter, escaping the darkness. But sometimes, it's about burying it deep enough that no one ever finds it. Zeno Vale had escaped Lowtown. But part of him was still trapped there in the flicker of a dying light, in the memory of a fire that refused to die. And somehow, I was part of it too. Because in Acamia, the past doesn't stay buried. It waits in the wires, in the smoke, in the hearts of those who thought they left it behind. This is just the beginning. Welcome to Acamia.